understand what you're saying. No.
There it is.
Let's hear it.
Well, let's hear it.
Talk to us. Uh-oh.
Beadle and Decker, taking on sports talk like no one else. Michelle Beadle,
I'm just helping. I'm helping America one by one.
Cody Decker.
I 100% believe in revenge. Revenge is a great thing.
Back to the sports.
Back and ready for more.
Every time I tune them out, they pull me back in.
It's Beadle and Decker. Here's Michelle and Cody.
Hello! Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. That's right. It is Beadle and Decker time. Welcome. It is noon here on the West Coast here in Los Angeles, California. And yes, you are listening to me, Cody Decker, and not with me today is Michelle Beadle. Michelle is with us on Mondays and Wednesdays. But when you have an opportunity to do a show called Beadle and Decker, and Beadle can't be on the show, you don't just call anybody. No. You need a pinch hitter that's got a hell of a left jab, a hell of a right hook, and somebody you need to go to battle with. And frankly, I got my guy. And if you are a fan of Philly sports radio, you know this cat is a legend. If you're a fan of Sports Grid and listen to the Craig Carton show, my guy, Craig Carton, then you definitely know this guy, the one and only Tyrone Johnson. How you doing, Tyrone? Thrilled to have you today on Beadle and Decker, my man.
Man, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And listen, I've been trying to tell people for years, I'll get you with either hand. Left hand or right hand, you're going to sleep either way. What's going on?
And I'm glad we're opening up right away talking about fighting because, yeah, you better believe fighting is a big part of today's show because we had ourselves a brawl and a half in the NBA last night. We had ourselves a little bit of a controversy, I guess, if you can call it that. If you're basing it off of what LeBron James specifically said about my Lakers, then, yeah, you could say it's a bit of a controversy. So we're going to get into that. Not to mention we got Olympics. We got Major League Baseball finally coming out of the woodwork, just about to hit up some spring training. Very fired up for that. We got plenty to talk about. And of course, the chat, excited to have everyone in the chat today. So we are going to be doing, and we're just going to go ahead and launch it right out the gate. Dude, we had a Super Bowl this weekend, and I don't know about you, it bored the living shit out of me. I hated every second of this football game. I mean, thrilled for Kenneth Walker III and all that, and it was good to see a running back get his flowers and all, but at the end of the day, it was a boring quarterback performance by both teams. If you're a big fan of defense, I guess great, but that was 9-0 going into halftime. Thank God I got something awesome to watch during halftime, but that was about it.
Yeah. It absolutely was about it. And I think there's a couple of reasons. Number one is, you know how the NFL, the salary cap usually makes it to where everybody's kind of in the middle, and it's around the edges where the teams are different. You get the right quarterback, a la Tom Brady, and you can be good forever. But a lot of times the hard cap forces everybody sort of into the middle, and the differences between maybe a 6-10 team back when it mattered, it made sense, it was 16 games, and a 10-6 team traditionally was very small. Well, there's a problem with that, and we saw it this year. You had two teams that were terrible the year before, and then they jump way up, and that's never good. When no one was talking about the Seahawks coming into the season, in fact, they had one of the longest shots to ever win as far as preseason odds of actually winning a Super Bowl. And obviously no one was talking about the Patriots off of 4 wins in Vrabel's first year, and Drake May wasn't great as a rookie. So it already started with no one cared. I'm talking about, when I say no one, I don't mean Seattle fans. I don't mean Patriots fans. I mean middle America. I mean almost any other city where you are, where I am. We're not talking about the Seahawks, and we're not talking about New England to start with. Then, so when you do that, you already have no story. Like, can Jalen Hurts get the Chiefs this time? That was a story that was out there. Could the Chiefs actually be the first team to ever three-peat? There was a story there. So once you remove the story, we're relying 100% on the game. And that was not a game to rely 100% on.
No, it was terrible. And then you get the news after the fact. Now, I do want to give Mike Vrabel some credit right out the gate, because after the game, he gave a borderline masterclass on how to handle a question, because the question was asked of him, your thoughts on Drake May and his performance. And if you watched that game, you saw a very, very shit performance from a guy that was second in the MVP voting. You'd make the argument, if it weren't for a couple of weird-ass throwaway votes, he might be the MVP today over Stafford. However, Drake May did not look good. 3 turnovers, the interception, which was one of the worst interceptions I think I've ever seen in a Super Bowl game, not to mention that weird fumble and the even weirder strip fumble that ended up turning into a touchdown. But then the word kind of comes out that Drake May actually might have been a little bit more banged up than was originally put out there, because an injection into your shoulder, and I want to make this abundantly clear as a former athlete, I try to tell people this all the time, like elbow, no problem. Elbow injuries you can come back from. Tommy John is like having a cold at this point in Major League Baseball, an 8-month cold, but a cold. Once that shoulder goes, bro, you are screwed. You cannot be the same guy you once were. Now, I'm not saying Drake May's not going to be the same guy he once was. I'm just saying a shoulder injury, inject whatever the fuck you want into that. You ain't going to be the same guy, and he wasn't the same guy.
No, he wasn't. And the tough part is they say it was an AC joint sprain. It doesn't require surgery. That's a good thing, because a lot of times they go in there, as you mentioned, and they mess it up. They botch it. Like, it's kind of, I feel like when it comes to doctors, they know everything about like the lungs. They know a ton about the heart. They know nothing about the brain, and they seem to know very little about the shoulder. They get in there, we thought it was this, but then it was the labrum. It was this, that, and the other thing. So I think that was a problem. And then the other part is they didn't block for him.
Nope.
Like, he was bad, period. I don't want to make it like he was good, because he wasn't. I don't want to insult the audience. I don't want to come on as a guest and come in insulting all the people and pretending like, come in there, put your feet up on the furniture with your shoes on. No, you don't want to be rude. But he probably isn't that bad if they can block for him a little bit. And Will Campbell got his ass kicked every play.
No, you are right. Plus, also starting 2 rookies on the right side of the line, which is, by the way, never happened in a Super Bowl game. I agree with that. However, I did see the next-gen stats, and this stat blew me away. Did you know that not only Drake May and Sam Darnold in this particular game, now I'm not going to say Sam Darnold had himself a shootout game either. It's even in the chat right now. Well, Raiders introduced Clint Kubiak just now. I watched that offensive performance. I am not all that excited about my Raiders' future. However, that's beside the point. The point is, it's pretty staggering when you had 2 quarterbacks, one that didn't make any mistakes, which is more or less why Sam Darnold got the win.
Absolutely.
But what's shocking to me was, according to Next Gen Stats, these 2 had the exact same amount of time holding the ball in the pocket, which is a weird thing to say. It was 2.83 seconds that they were both averaging the entire game. Wild to me, because with your eyes, I would have guessed that, no doubt, Drake May had a half a second less at all times than Sam Darnold, especially a quarterback that uses his legs like Drake May, and a cigar store Indian that is Sam Darnold, who is somehow evading pressures.
Yeah, I think that's the part where Sam Darnold, I think, deserves a lot of credit. We noticed it now in real time. We're probably all still thinking about the Patriots' previous drive and how they couldn't move the ball. So it got to the point where it felt like maybe 3's enough, maybe 9's enough. Like, it felt like, even though it was 9-0, you felt like that might as well be 21. That's 3 touchdowns, not 3 field goals. But Sam Darnold did evade a lot better. He evaded pressure a lot better in comparison, and I think that played a huge role in the game, because Drake May, ultimately, every time they got around him, he was going to the ground. And Sam Darnold, again, to his credit, not great numbers, but he was able to escape time and time again. It made a difference.
Guys, I don't, Cody, real quick.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear this injury bullshit. You are 19, 20 games into the season, which is basically each game is the equivalent of a car crash, what you're putting your body through. I don't want to hear this bullshit. Every single person on the field is hurt. Every single person.
You are not wrong.
You know, I didn't realize that people could curse this much. I feel like I'm getting left behind.
Get in there, dude. We're just on YouTube right now. Until somebody pays us the real money, I'm going to keep dropping fucking F-bombs.
No. It's absolutely true. And we saw it with Mahomes against my Eagles with the ankle. He went at halftime, had to get the shot. He's running around scrambling. He changed the game with his legs, and he needed ankle surgery the week after the Super Bowl. So it really doesn't matter how hurt you are or aren't this time of year. I also don't buy it with the left tackle. All of a sudden, he has a tear in his knee. Shut up. Will Campbell, you were out there. You were good enough to play, so I don't want to hear it. So I completely agree with that notion about the injury. I think when it comes down to it, Drake May wasn't good enough. And if you want to question his toughness or whatever it might be, you can do that on your own time. It didn't matter now. Maybe he grows into it, and maybe he gets another shot at it, although the stats say he may never get another opportunity the rest of his career. Believe it or not, it's only like 4 guys that lose their first Super Bowl and came back to win a Super Bowl. Literally only 4 guys in the history of the sport. So the odds are against them. But they blew an opportunity there in a winnable game with that defense. And those guys, Will Campbell and Drake May, have to wear that, not because of injuries, because they choked in the biggest moments of their lives.
Yeah, and they really, really, really did. It was a tough watch, but let's get away from the thing that wasn't boring. And of course, I want to talk to you, and Shane, of course, I want to chime in, and I want your take, because we spent so little time talking about the actual game yesterday, and so much of the time talking about Green Day, and of course the halftime show, which is the biggest affront to white people that's ever happened on earth. Of course, we are talking about Bad Bunny's halftime performance, which, dude, I don't know, the wokest thing ever or the sweetest thing ever. Also, what the fuck is woke?
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing here? Now think about this now. No. Now, you had a marriage between a man and a woman. Mm-hmm. When the hell did traditional marriage become woke? Like, you had a couple get married. You had all kinds of women shaking all kinds of ass all over the place. When did
they were Mexican, Tyrone. They were Mexican. It's not
they were white.
Yeah, what do you mean? Like, and then you got people going, again, white people, because no Hispanic person said this. They were only showing that they sell tacos. Hey, dumbass, they found a real person who actually had a real taco truck and included them. Then they found the woman, the oldest living woman from Puerto Rico's original social club in New York City. So for people that don't know in the city, you know, you can go to New York City now and everybody's just together. It was not always like that. So literally they had to make private clubs so that Puerto Ricans would have a place to eat, drink, etc. He found the oldest woman from those original social clubs and put her in the thing. How the hell is that woke? That's history. That's American history, more like also American history. And to say that it's woke is so, well, since we can do it, it's so fucking lazy. Like, It's just lazy. Just say you didn't like it. If you just say you don't like it, the only thing we know about you is that you have bad taste. When you say other things, it makes me then ask other questions about you. Because if you don't like Jessica Alba, if you don't like Cardi B, if you don't like all the women shaking the ass, if you don't like Lady Gaga, if you don't like everything that's there, you don't like cinematography, you don't like beautiful women, just say that. But to say woke is a lazy way of saying it wasn't white enough for you, and I would respect it way more if you would just say that.
Yeah. It's like the two words that we've just used to blanketly say, which is basically, these are the words we're choosing to be anti-white. It's woke and DEI. We're just going to blanketly say it about anything that white people don't like. And again, I think it was Chris Long, and correct me if it wasn't Chris Long. I did see the quote. He said, watching a bunch of white guys pretend they don't like big booty Latinas is wild, man.
Like, okay, so you don't like the women. So it's woke to like women now? I thought that you were saying that when there were gay people, that was woke. Because, you know, they're not allowed to like sports and they're allowed to be a part of society in your world. Fine. But now liking women is woke? Because all I saw was beautifulness. Like, I tell you, had the worst Super Bowl, and we'll get to later. Cash Warren, the ex-husband of Jessica Alba. He's got to be furious. Now, I know that he's like in the industry and people know him, and I have nothing against Cash Warren. I never even met him. All I'm saying is, when I saw Jessica Alba out there, I thought you fumbled that.
Dude, you fumbled a bag of bags of bags. That's Jessica.
Come on, bro.
That's Jessica fucking Alba, dude.
Listen, people were talking about, what's she been in lately? I'll tell you what she hasn't been doing lately. Aging. She has not aged today. She might as well be in the movie Honey. And go back and watch that for those people that did.
Yeah, I'll go back and watch Dark Angel. That's how far back I go on Jessica Alba, bro. Let's go.
She looked tremendous. She looked tremendous. Carol G. Like, it just looked to me like a party. And if you don't like a party, and I know people that don't like a party, you're allowed to not like a party. But stop lying about why. We need to get more honesty here as to why you don't like it. And also, stop with the fake outrage. You don't care that much. I'm telling you, whether it's Megyn Kelly, I don't know if I can say names, whoever these people are, they're just apoplectic.
Oh, no, I'll say Megyn Kelly. I refer to her as Ava Blonde.
Yeah, Ava Blonde, I like that. Ava Blonde. She doesn't care that much. For her to pretend like she cares that much, like, stop lying. You don't care that much. This is now the outrage Olympics, and the same thing that people get accused of on one side of the aisle or the other side of the aisle. No, this is now just the Olympics of looking to be offended by something. Because also, what about the rumors he was going to wear a dress? That didn't happen. He didn't do anything. All he did was perform. Like, you're not that upset about it. Cut it out.
Bad Bunny has a song about missing his dead dog. What do white people like more than their dogs?
It's a country
Absolutely
song based
nothing.
on the lyrics.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
White people should fucking love Bad Bunny. and he does SNL all the time. White people love SNL.
Yeah. And there you go. I mean, Chad in the chat gets it. Like all these guys get it. I just don't know where everybody else is, man. So frustrating.
Yeah, that's what bothers me about it. It's just that should have been something where you go, it should have been, oh, I heard a lot of rumors that he was going to, I don't know where they came from. I thought that show was going to be crazy. It wasn't. It was just a show. It was just a 13-minute concert. That's all it was. And I loved it. And that little snippet my age is telling. When they played that Gasolina song, that little bit, boy, I got excited about that. That when I was outside, now that I'm a married man and such, when I was outside, Gasolina was on. And we was getting it.
Shit was a jam, dude. By the way, not for nothing, obviously it was in the chat, but we didn't mention it. Lady Gaga was phenomenal. So white people, right. You got your fill, get enough. And
you got Alex Earl, the current whitest woman in America. She was on stage. There's no one whiter than Alex Earl right now. She was there.
And also, I mean, I know it's not a white person thing, but Ricky Martin was there. Who gets fucking mad at Ricky Martin?
I got to be honest, if people were trying to ridicule me, I don't care. I'm here for the ridicule. It was great to see Ricky Martin. He was so big when I'm coming out of high school. Ricky Martin's the biggest artist in the world. I hadn't thought about Ricky Martin. I was like, oh, look at him. He looks good. He looks healthy. Sounds good. How about Ricky? I was ready for Living La Vida Loca. If they want to put Ricky Martin next year, I'm there for it. Dude, we got to stop acting like we don't like things we like. I
was so ready for this show to end with La Vida Loca. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but man, I really dug it, man. It was a fun show. It was something cool to see. And dude, in this day and age, if you're getting to see something different, then that's just an accomplishment in on itself. Like that was different. Absolutely. And I enjoyed the living shit out of it. Let's take a little bit of a left turn here, get away from the NFL. Let's get over to the NBA, because the NBA had themselves a night, and not for probably the best reasons for me. Dude, tell me what you got on everything around this brawl, because dude, this brawl last night between the Charlotte Hornets and the Detroit Pistons, which again, Detroit Pistons currently number 1 in the East. You got the Charlotte Hornets 10 in the East, and often I forget they're even there. Honestly, the Charlotte Hornets have been on my shit list ever since they got rid of the CLT uniforms, which were the best uniforms in all sports.
I love those. Yeah, they were.
But now they're just going back to the old schools. Fine, but I don't get to giggle anymore, so I don't give a shit about this team. Although the brawl was pretty damn good, but I did see what is Miles Bridges doing?
Yeah, see, it's funny. Miles Bridges, first off, he was thrown off because he's used to hitting women. That's what he likes to do. If you don't know about it, Google it. That's where he's most comfortable. Like, I'm really, I got to treat you like a woman. That's what I heard. There was a mic back there. I don't know what he's doing. Like, and the other part is for the Pistons, and this is what Miles Bridges, I think, wasn't prepared for in all seriousness, that the Pistons stood up to it. I thought when he jumped in, I think he thought the Pistons were going to back down, but they didn't. And I think we'll get to the basketball part of it a little while. But to me, it's fun. No one got really hurt, which is the most important thing, like that kind of thing. But it does show you that the Pistons are doing it on the court, and they're prepared to do it off the court too. That's a very together group. I know you play pro sports at a very high level. When a team's together like that and they have each other's back, that can show up in different ways. It showed up in a big way. They were ready to win the basketball game and the fight. A lot of teams wouldn't have been ready for the fight, but they were.
No, you are absolutely right. And I kind of dig that when that shit goes down. Like, I know it's childish. I know we shouldn't be excited about brawls, but it's like you said, like this is at the end of the day. And I mean, I try to tell people this all the time. There are intelligent athletes out there. They're far and few in between, but there are intelligent athletes out there. But even the intelligent ones kind of revert back to a childlike state when they're on that field. When a brawl breaks out, all you see is that's my brother and I got to go defend him. And sometimes, and I shit you not, it's sometimes the very best thing that can happen for a team. I've been on teams that hated each other, but once we had a common enemy, playoffs, here we fucking come.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And the one thing that the Knicks did to a lot of teams last year was they out-toughed them. Well, now if you project to the playoffs, you're not out-toughing this Pistons team. Isaiah Stewart says that's why he played for the Pistons, so he could do things like that. He was ready to go out there and have his guys back. And yes, he's a repeat offender. You are, as the Lakers fan, you saw when he tried to attack LeBron, but that dude stays ready so he doesn't have to get ready, and I love it. And because no one got hurt, I want to make it clear. If there were serious injuries or anything like that, I look at this totally different. But because there wasn't, it was just a fun night where I don't know exactly why it started. The foul didn't seem that serious.
It really didn't. It seemed like right after the foul, when he got right in his face and kind of started headbutting him.
Durant's face, yeah.
And
then Durant pushed him. And
then,
I guess he felt disrespected.
Yeah, and then all shit broke loose, which I thought was wild. But I did like Durant backing up, just throwing his hands up. He's like, no, I ain't getting suspended. I ain't getting suspended for this shit. We're in first, dude.
Right. Now, here's the one thing I got to ask you, though, and I had this written down to ask you. Duncan Robinson, once everybody's in the fray, he walks up to it, he turns around, he walks away. Now, it's not that he didn't participate. He, actively walked away from it. Now, you've been in clubhouses, you've been in locker rooms. Do the teammates now look at him a little bit different when everyone else was looking for the smoke and he was running out the other way? Do they look? And remember, he's a role player. He's not a star player. They don't need him to win. It's nice to have him because he's a shooter, but they're not dying to have him. Does this hurt his standing in that locker room? I want to ask you that because everyone else seemed like they had their fire suit on and he did not.
Dude, that is a really good question. And honestly, I'll answer it as honestly as I humanly can. It's a case-by-case situation. Because if you do have a teammate that is a little more mild-mannered and just kind of backs his way out of it, sometimes you kind of already know that about the cat. However, if I'm on that team and I'm in the middle of that fight, my first question is, where the fuck were the rest of you?
See? And most of the guys were there, but he wasn't. Most of the guys were there. And so now I know for a fact if I'm on that team, anything goes down in the postseason, hell, it might be anything goes down in life. Isaiah Stewart's going to have my back. But you, Duncan Robinson, I don't know. And it's not that he needs to be in there throwing punches. Go and grab somebody like you're going to break it up.
Yeah.
Don't just walk away that way. That didn't sit right with me.
Be the fake ass peacemaker. Like, oh, come on, guys, let's all get along. What's happening?
Right. I looked at him a little different, but otherwise it was a lot of fun. And the other part, and I got to ask you this is another one. Miles Bridges, in all seriousness, missed a season because he beats women. Now, I wasn't saying that to be like,
no, it's true.
This is not slander. This is the truth. Doesn't he have to know that he just shouldn't be hitting people because the league's going to look at him differently? He's going to lose a lot of money from this. I don't think he realizes it.
I mean, dude, as much as I want to sit here and say, yeah, I would love him to know better, based on his track record, no, he does not know better. He just simply does not. And the league's going to have to step in and do something about this because he is a guy that has been, as you said, suspended for an entire year. And at the end of the day, listen, I know some people will completely disagree with this, and you are right to disagree with this if that's what your stance is. But I firmly believe the league does at times need to make an example. And I would not be shocked if Miles Bridges is one of those examples.
Yeah, like Isaiah Stewart's going to get hit because he's a repeat offender, and he had a fight that went viral. Like him trying to get to LeBron went viral. Everyone knows about it. He has to probably get double-digit games. He'll be back for the playoffs, but he's going to lose a lot of money. He's going to lose some time. But I think you have to do the same thing to Bridges. He's a guy who amplified the fight. It probably could have stayed between two guys if Miles Bridges doesn't jump in it. I think he might need to get maybe 15 to 20. If not for the rest of the year, because that could have went somewhere else, and you're not a first offender. Like, the difference was Isaiah Stewart tried to get a grown man. You got at a woman, and now you want to do this. To me, I think you got to tell him, you got to be completely nonviolent. You were too much Malcolm X and not enough Martin Luther King last night. When you come back, you better act like Martin Luther King.
Love it. But this brawl did get me thinking of what my favorite brawls of all time were, because I'm sorry, as much as I like to pretend I'm an evolved man, I love me a brawl, man. There's something about it. There's some fire to it. I love seeing pro athletes re-show that fire, provided, as you've already said a bunch of times, Tyrone, and you are right, nobody actually gets hurt.
Right.
So I got some great examples of those examples. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. Number one, obviously, Malice in the Palace is one of the greatest fights of all time. Number two for me, dude, I'm sorry. If you don't love a geriatric Nolan Ryan just beating the living shit out of Robin Ventura, then you don't love anything, and I don't want to be friends with you. And, dude, 1997, Knicks and Heat. I will never, ever, for the rest of my life, forget Tim Hardaway like just simply being in front of the cameras, just ratting out random Knicks that were on the court so they can get suspended for the rest of the playoffs. Something that still lives rent-free in Knick fans' head to this day. I love watching Tim Hardaway getting booed in New York, dude. It's my favorite.
No, those are tremendous choices. In fact, I go another step. You got guys grabbing players around the ankles and so much going on. Like it was just that one was just tremendous. Here's the crazy thing about the Malice in the Palace, right? Mm-hmm. We know you can't go in the stands. I'm making that very clear. I don't want people to act like you can. But I tell you what it did do, made people think twice for a little while, throwing stuff at players. Because what led Ron Artest's land on the scores table, remember.
Water smokes in the face.
Somebody hits him in the face, and then he goes in there. And when you notice, like the streaker during the Super Bowl and stuff like that, I think we've lost that for a little while after Malice in the Palace. Every fan was kind of on notice that, man, if I do something to a player, they might come up in there and hurt me. And now that's gone. I don't want fans to be afraid to go to games. I kind of do want fans to be afraid to interact with the players too strongly. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying we need to get a Malice at the Palace, but I do think every so often something needs to happen to get the fans part of it in line. Because go cheer, say what you want, but don't throw anything, don't hit people, don't go on the field of play. And that was the one crazy thing about the Malice in the Palace. Aftermath, every player was like, a lot of fans I noticed were like, even some fans I know that would act a fool. All of a sudden, we're at Eagles games on their best behavior, Sixers games on their best behavior, Flyers games at their best behavior.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking something might happen. So that's the part that always funny to me about the Malice in the Palace. It not only changed, obviously, the sport and the suspensions and all that stuff, but it also literally changed fan behavior for like 18 months.
Completely did. And also, we're also in this really weird I'm going to call it a brave new world. It's not a brave new world where social media has warped everybody's brains that think they can just talk all the shit they want without consequences. And guys, consequences sometimes fucking happen, and it's funny when it does.
Right. And if you look at it, Ron Artest recovered from that, won a championship, still very rich, campaigning to coach the Knicks. Now, none of that, I don't think that part's going to happen. But like, that guy who took them punches from Ron Artest, I don't know if they still healed. Like, I don't know if those wounds healed. So it's like, yeah, he was suspended, but he went on and was just fine. Like, so just think twice when you mess with certain people. Now, there's one brawl that literally did change the course of history. So Kermit Washington's punch on Rudy Tomjanovich in the 70s. Now, I wasn't alive for this, but my dad told me about it. I went and looked at the video. Now, for people that don't know, Rudy Tomjanovich was like a 5-time All-Star. That punch was serious. Like it was very serious. Like if you ever go look at the video, it was nasty. He had like a fracture, like his brain was bleeding. Like it was really bad. It took him 5 full months to recover. He came back, made another All-Star team, and then because of the vertigo and the different problems from this, he ended up retiring early, goes into coaching, and then becomes a Rockets coach earlier than he would have. And then he ends up winning 2 championships. That Kermit Washington, it was a brawl. Kermit Washington, Rudy T was going in to help a teammate. Kermit Washington hit him with just one of the nastiest punches you'll ever see. Rudy Tomjanovich was seriously hurt, so I don't encourage this, but it forced him to go into coaching early and led to 2 championships for the Houston Rockets. None of that may not happen if not for that brawl.
By the way, a couple good ones. This Padres and Braves in the 80s. I know exactly the game you're talking about. Especially, I always look back at the players in the 80s, but especially baseball players, because they all looked 54 years old. I remember the starting pitcher came back out. His shirt was off. He's got this gross mustache. And I was just like, dude, that dude's here to fucking kill somebody. Right. Loved it. Now,
it's not quite a brawl, but when George Brett, because of the pine tar, sprints out of there, and the whole team kind of comes with him afterwards. Not quite a brawl, but as a person who doesn't like umpires, that one always makes me happy. So it wasn't quite a brawl.
It is great. I've asked him about that when I was on the Royals, right? And I'll never forget it. I'm like, so, dude, do you hate being known as the pine tar guy? He's like, dude, before that, I was known as the hemorrhoid guy. I'll take being the pine tar guy 10 out of 10 times because no one remembers the hemorrhoid story anymore. I'm like,
that's a good point.
Not bad. Also, a couple of good other choices here. We have ourselves Joey Bats versus Rufus Odor. That was a great one. Amir Garrett versus all of the Pirates. Yes, that was a good one, too.
It was a very good one.
Oh, those were gold.
I want to give credit to Joey Bats for a moment, only because he stayed up. That was like I know people talk about, he couldn't, like he lost. Okay, yes, but a lesser man goes down. The fact that he buckled but stayed up from that after taking that punch, I've always thought that was an underrated part of that story. Him taking that punch like a man and still being up, because other people might have went to sleep.
You know who went to sleep? Didn't stand up. Tim Anderson's.
That's what I was going to bring up.
The weakest left hand I've ever seen from Jose Ramirez.
No, dude. Not only it didn't put him to sleep, it ended his fucking career. He was never the same guy again.
Never the same guy. And I think it was because in front of people. If that same thing happens in private and like no women and children see it, I think he's all right. I think it literally like drained his life force, not just the fact that it was so embarrassing in front of so many people. And I think that he just never recovered. That's one of those things where, like, it's like the worst nightmare where you get put in a position where you have to fight and then you lose. Like, I don't think most people want to just go around getting in fights unless you're an asshole. But you always wonder, like, what would you do? Like, if like Mike Tyson was in a Super Bowl commercial, what do you do if you're at a bar or something and Mike Tyson does something where you have to fight him? Like, you know what's coming, but you have to fight him. Like that feeling of dread. Like, oh no. Like, I'll never recover.
I'd prefer it to be fucking anybody but a former heavyweight boxing champion. How about that?
Yeah, it's one of those type of deals. Like, that's always my worst nightmare. The guy who can really fight and is way tougher than me, but I'm in a spot where I have to fight him. I can't run. I have to stand up for myself. Oh, that's not fun. And I think that's what went through his mind, that he will never be able to stand up for himself ever again after getting put to sleep.
Poor Tim Anderson,
honorable mention, Cody. How about A-Rod throwing down Don?
It was Don Zimmer. It was Pedro that
throwing down Don Zimmer. Pedro throwing down Don Zimmer.
And what's crazy is it took Pedro 20 years to say sorry. Afterwards, he was like, listen, I did what I had to do. Throwing that old man, poor Don goes down on his face. But then like 20 years later, he goes, if I could do it over again, I wouldn't have done it. But for 20 years, he was 10 toes down on that, saying, yep, I'd do it again.
You guys remember Red Sox Yankees when Joe Kelly beat the shit out of Chase Headley? Chase Headley slammed his bat to the ground and charged the mound on Joe Kelly, and he beat the shit out of him.
Joe Kelly, by the way, who is a wiry dude, but a dude like you look at Joe Kelly, you're like, oh, I can fuck this dude up. Joe Kelly is wired a little different. He's got that look like, no, I'm going to murder you from the inside out.
Yeah,
that's crazy. No, what were you getting ready to say about Don Zimmer and Pedro? It seemed like you were getting ready to say something.
It was just simply this. It was fucking hilarious. I'm sorry. It was fucking hilarious. And then the next day, Don Zimmer gave the press conference and he was crying and he was embarrassed. And I appreciated everyone got cooler heads prevailed. Granted, it took Pedro 20 years, but
yeah, he'd like to be sorry. Like, he was like, hey, he came at me. Like, that's the tough thing too. And this is one thing I got you have to recognize, like, your mentality. Like, when you're 20, if you talk about just approaching somebody, you're okay. When you get to a certain age, you got to be careful around these young guys because they might be looking to take you out. They might not want in. Like, you push somebody, they might push you back. You push somebody, they might do who knows. So I think if Don could have done it over again, I think he would have probably just tried to be peacemaker.
And there is a question here. This is a fair question. Jeets22 is asking, didn't A-Rod put Veritek in a headlock or vice versa? It was vice versa. It was a pretty good little brawl. That was a good run of fights between the Red Sox and the Yankees back then. But I digress. Let's get back over to the basketball of it all, because listen, I am a Laker fan, and they're fifth in the West. LeBron says the Lakers can't play 48 minutes. And listen, is he wrong? This team is 22nd in the NBA in defensive metrics. It's got arguably 3 perennial MVPs on the team, yet I don't see a world where this team gets by anyone. And also, what are we even talking about? Isn't this just OKC's league until we're told otherwise?
Yeah, now 2 parts. Let's do the second part first. The Spurs will have something to say about that.
You are right.
They're a year away probably, but they're ahead of schedule. But as far as this is the tough thing about the Lakers, where you have LeBron, who was a great defender, but if you're asking him to play defense, you probably can't ask him at his age to play a lot of offense. And he's playing a lot of offense, you probably can't ask him to play a lot of defense at his age, whether it's Kareem, whether it's Vince Carter, whether it's Michael and him. A very few guys have played at that age. LeBron at a higher level than everyone else at that age. Hard to play both ends there. Then you take Luka, who just for whatever reason, and I still think the Dallas trade, like the Lakers are going to be fine because they have Luka. And Dallas, everybody's fired for a good reason for trading Luka. At the same time, his defense this year might be worse than it has been in the past. Like, he doesn't even try at all. And then Austin Reeves can't. So, like, the personnel's just not there. What you would need is a center who would really defend, and you probably need a 4 who can make threes and defend, like Chris Bosh is who they need. They need some center and a Chris Bosh type to make it passable. If you had those two guys, you could probably make it work. Obviously, those guys don't grow on trees. So what LeBron said was correct. He's part of the issue, but he can't make himself younger. I'd like to think Reeves and Luka could play better defense if they so chose to, but they haven't so far.
Yeah. And listen, time will only tell, but again, I am with you. This Laker team is, when you got LeBron James, he's 41 years old. I appreciate everything that LeBron James is. I really do. But he's also 41 years old and freely admits that he's not comfortable playing back-to-backs unless you ask him day of which, again, I fucking get it. You're 41 years old. I don't know what else to say. The Lakers are just going to be exactly where they were last year, get knocked out first or second round of the playoffs, and that's the way it is because the entire West is younger and, as far as I can tell, better than the Lakers.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing. And the Spurs being better ahead of time. Minnesota obviously just made their team better at the trade deadline as well. You have a lot of really good teams, and the Lakers are a good team. And most likely, given LeBron's age, they're probably better than they should be. Like, they're probably ahead of where they should be. But as far as realistically winning, it's not possible. I do kind of like that LeBron said it out loud. Not so much that he said it to us. I think he said it in public to challenge the teammates. And maybe there's some there we're not seeing. I don't think so. But if Reeves and Luka would just play a little defense, they're not going to beat OKC, but they could get to a conference finals with better defense. So maybe that's why he said it out loud. But usually you don't see players saying on teams that are in the mix, we're not ready to be a championship team. Usually you don't hear players saying that.
Well, listen, that we'll keep an eye on that as time goes forward, but let's go ahead. We got Shane already here, and it's time for Shane's Quick Hitters.
All right, we already gave Bad Bunny his flowers for the halftime show, but I wanted to go into detail on the wedding. How cool is it that, number one, the wedding was real? Number two, the couple just had extra wedding announcements. So they sent him out, like you do to your favorite businesses or teams or whatever, hoping to get some kind of gift or letter back. They sent it to Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's team set up a Zoom with them, and they're like, what the hell are they setting up a Zoom with us for? And that's when they told him, hey, we can't come to your wedding, but you can come to us. And they had it officially licensed in everything. That was the official wedding of that couple at halftime of the Super Bowl. How cool is that?
So cool.
I mean, it's an unbelievable story. It's you can't top it. And I'm supposed to come away from that halftime show and go, that's bad. You just made a couple's dream come true 20-fold more than they thought. They probably thought best case they would get tickets to the nosebleeds to a concert. That's probably what they thought as best case scenario. Not a parking pass, just 2 tickets for the nosebleeds.
It's unreal.
Instead, they get it. And then right after they finish, Lady Gaga sings. Like, are you kidding me? And apparently, like that is the coolest thing in the world. If you did nothing else, if he had just done that, it would have been an awesome halftime show. And I'm just sorry. Stop trying to convince me that wasn't awesome. That was awesome.
It was awesome. And also, a way to ruin it for everyone else. As a dude that is happily divorced and always said I'd never get married again, but I have softened up as time's gone forward on that.
Okay.
Now I'm not, because I'm never going to fucking beat that shit.
Well, hold on. No, hold on.
No,
you can't act like you don't. Now you can't top it in that way, but you could top it somehow with athletics or something.
How? How could that ever? They got married by Bad Bunny, and then Lady Gaga showed up.
Well, what if you're out there in L.A.? What if Freddie Freeman did the ceremony? I'm saying to certain people, Freddie Freeman did the ceremony, and your best man was Mookie.
Listen, as somebody that respects both of these players a lot, even someone that's not even necessarily a Dodger fan anymore, I'd take that. They could.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to lay out something. I'm trying to lay out. And then Ohtani is like the flower guy.
I mean, if I get Ohtani at my wedding, then the answer is a resounding fucking. I don't care what he does. He could be the flower guy. He could be an usher. He could just be in the city, and I'll say he was at my wedding.
Yeah, and the reason I say that is because you don't know this hypothetical woman just yet. I mean, you might know her, but you're not engaged to her right now. Maybe you know her, you just haven't, Like, how do you know she's not a big baseball fan? So I think it's top of ball. You could, but like Shane and I couldn't.
No, absolutely not. No.
You
All right,
might.
last night in their loss to the Brooklyn Nets, newly acquired Chicago Bull Colin Sexton, one of 17 guards that the Bulls have on the roster right now, was caught flipping off the rim after he went 1 for 2 on his free throws. What is the most irrationally angry you've gotten in competition?
Okay. I one time had a double-A game, and it was right after I won Texas League Player of the Week 2 weeks in a row. And I mean, I was destroying this league in ways it had never been destroyed. And I went to Frisco, Texas for a double-A game, and it was an extra inning game that went 15 innings. And I went 0 for 7. 0 for 7 in this nightmarish game. I went into the bathroom with my bat that I used that game. I destroyed the bathroom and broke my bat and threw it into my bat bag so the other bats knew there are consequences for your lack of performance.
Wow, that is tremendous. Wow, that is. See, baseball guys are different. No, baseball guys, you guys are different now. Now, my answer to this is not sports related, but it's just as crushing. So I'm 7 years old, and there's musical chairs, and I'm at someone else's birthday party, and it's me and the birthday boy last, and then I didn't win. No lie, I'm not lying about this. That stayed in my mind for 30 years until I realized, wait, the birthday boy's supposed to win the musical chairs, because I was sure that I had that game clocked in, and I was so mad. And then the other time is you just how elementary school do like a field day thing, like a fun day where you pick the teams and stuff. Yeah, well, the blue team always won real fast, and then my brother and sister were on the blue team, and I knew they were going to be prepared. Somehow they switched me to the white team. It was white and blue team, so I'm like, we need to train and stuff. The blue team's really good. Go through, we lose, and they give popsicles to everybody. I threw my popsicle in the trash because winners don't get a prize. So then they brought me another popsicle. I threw that popsicle in the trash and then proceeded to yell at my classmates that were on the white team that lost for taking the popsicle because losers don't get a prize. And I stand by that one. So the musical chairs one, I let go. The field day one, it was stupid. We shouldn't have got nothing. We lost. Okay. And I won jump rope. I helped win the relay race. I'm clocking victories and we losing the whole school. No, not okay.
Hey, Shane, I got another one that wasn't for me, but it was for all my teammates at UCLA. We used to do these dumb, when I played at UCLA, these dumb like run manufacturing games. So we got runners at first and second. We're pretending that there's one out. And I'll never forget it. It was all about you have to get runners over, and whoever wins in this little matchup between the two teams, but they broke us up into two teams. Whoever wins these 2 innings in this run manufacturing game wins. And guess what? How it went? They did everything right. They laid down a bunt, got the runners over, grounded out the second, runner comes in, sack fly, runner comes in, scored both of those runs. They're like, perfect. That's how you execute and get those runs. Well done. And then I just came up and hit a 3-run home run and shit on the entire process.
Didn't do anything, didn't follow any directions.
Didn't follow the rules, but we won. Enjoy your laps.
That's right. You got 3 runs. They got 2. And buntings for cowards. Zone.
Sweet manufacturing. Hit bombs, idiot.
That's how you manufacture.
All right, if you're in the Midwest or close to the Midwest or follow football, you know about the drama in regards to where the Bears are going to be playing next, whether it's still in the South Loop in Chicago, whether it's in the Northwest burbs of Arlington Heights, or whether it is in Northwest Indiana. Roger Goodell visited some Northwest Indiana sites when he was here for the playoffs, and it looks like the Bears are nearing a deal to build their site in the northwest suburbs of Arlington Heights. For you, does it matter where your favorite team plays, or do you just want to be associated with the team, not necessarily the location?
For me, here's all right. I hope this isn't a cop out. I care the least in football because there's less games. I care a great deal in baseball because they play the most games, and then the other two are in between. I think it's ridiculous in Philadelphia, where I'm from, that they didn't put the stadium on the water. And listen to the price tag where they said no to. It was going to cost $1 billion. Now you see how much these stadiums cost. Now you could have Ryan. That would have been Ryan Howard's prime when he was Babe Ruth for those few years, hitting home runs into the Delaware River. It would have been worth it. That I care a great deal. For football, because that building, even with concerts and everything, that building gets used, if you're lucky, 30 times a year. I care significantly less. So I care a lot with baseball. That should be downtown. There should be stuff around it. I should be able to make a whole day and a night out of a baseball. Football, I care less.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go off also. It also depends on the cachet that team has with said city. So, like, I'm a Raider fan. I've watched my Raiders move 19 times in my lifetime, and I remained a Raider fan. In fact, they're closer to me in Vegas right now than they were in Oakland. I grew up an LA Raider fan, making them
right.
And I agree with you on your take when it comes to baseball compared to football, but this is the Bears. The Bears are they're just synonymous with Chicago. And I just don't understand how a team that has been in Chicago and is Chicago can't get a stadium in fucking Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, you saw it. And here's the thing about the Chiefs now are the modern day Yankees in a way, as far as winning a lot and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they moved, at least they're going from one Kansas City to another. That one's odd. Chicago Bears should be in Chicago. I was speaking more generically, but about the Bears, that should not happen. And they should be stepping in to make sure that doesn't happen. But listen, big city politics are a whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I'd be shocked if they don't move now that you bring that up, Shane.
Yeah, it's all about money. All right, number 4. You guys saw the commercial, the Ring camera commercial during the Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
Yeah. With the lost dog and Ring basically telling everyone, hey, just so you know, we are using every single bit that your Ring camera captures at all times and piecing together the way that neighborhoods look via AI.
Yes.
Do you, if you don't have a Ring camera, do you get one now, or are you avoiding that shit like the fucking plague?
I think you avoid it if you don't have one. If you don't already have one. The question for me, it would be, do I get rid of mine? Apparently there's an opt-out thing that's kind of complicated. And here's the other conspiracy theory now. And again, this is just a conspiracy theory that they're also now going to give the access to ICE, that all that footage Amazon's going to hunt down illegal immigrants or immigrants of all kinds. So I think that's a scary thing. And I will tell you, if I did not already have one, I would run the hell away from it. I now have to decide, do I go with blank? Do I go with another company and get rid of it? Because I already have one, but it bothers me a great deal. And don't tell me that you're not going to use it for bad means. That's the real reason you have it. And to build this out, it would cost Amazon billions. Because there's a fee of like $4 a month, we're paying them to do this. Yes. We're paying them to do this rather than them having to spend $1 billion to build it out. So hugely scary to me. I already have one. I got to make a decision. Will not buy a new one though, Shane. What do you think?
So here's my flip side on that, because I do agree with everything you're saying. Yeah, to me, it's a little scary in the AI world that we're getting into, even though I do think AI is a bit of a bubble compared to what we think it's going to be. That being said, I already carry around this thing, so they already got me tracking wise and everything humanly possible. And I'm in Los Angeles. I don't know if you know this about LA right now. Shane was in LA a few months ago, and he got to learn a little bit about a company that is called Waymo. Waymo are these driverless Uber cars that drive all around town. And when I say there's a lot of them, I mean A lot of them. And this is where it gets really weird. As much as you want to sit around saying, oh, this driver data. No, dude, if there's one thing I learned from Luigi last year is if they want to catch you for murder, they're going to find you. And they're going to find you using all of these Waymo cameras, all of these street cameras, all of our phones at this point. I just think that the Ring camera is just another one to add to the endless amount of AI to be able to watch us at all times. And they already are.
Dude, I was watching a former CIA operative on a documentary from Vice the other day, and he was talking about how even when your TV is off, the CIA can turn your smart TV speaker into a microphone and just tap into whatever they want to tap into all the time. Like, I've got a smart TV in my room right here in front of me. They could literally be listening to this show via the speaker on the television. There's no way to avoid any of it. You just have to keep your ducks in a row, I think.
It's over, guys. The Matrix has us.
Yeah.
All right.
It's kind of crazy.
Put yourself in Kendall Jenner's shoes at the Super Bowl. You're standing in the back row of your suite. Your ex-boyfriend, Bad Bunny, is putting on the performance of a lifetime out on the field. And your ex-boyfriend, Lewis Hamilton, is sitting there in the front row making out with your sister, Kim Kardashian. I mean, I don't normally feel bad for the Kardashian family or the Kardashian sisters, but could you ever, and you can comment on the situation itself if you want, but could you ever date someone that your sibling was previously inside of?
Oh, God. You mean, so you're asking me, could I be an Eskimo brother with my brother? Like,
could you be Kardashian?
With my brother, Jesse Field, the answer is a resounding fuck no.
Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
I accidentally dated somebody that dated a teammate of mine, and I didn't know about it, and I lost sleep for months.
No, I could not do that. And the other part where I felt bad for her a little bit was the only person next to her was Tyler, the Creator, and we don't know. He's like, we don't know his orientation. So hypothetically, she could have grabbed him and like made out with him. But we don't know if he likes women. We also don't know if he likes men. He has played with it so much. She couldn't like make a move because there's a chance she would get rejected. It was one of the only times where she might have actually got rejected. So while that was happening, she couldn't just grab the closest guy like she could do almost every other time. So because we don't know what team he plays for. We don't know. So, like any other situation, she just grabbed Travis Scott. Yeah, that was another person with her sister, but at least she knows what he likes. Like, that was a terrible situation for her, but I could absolutely not do that. Crazy thing, two of the Jackson 5, Marlon and Jermaine, married the same woman. Jermaine first, then Marlon Jackson married Jermaine's ex-wife. It's
like that creepy-ass scene in Rudy, which I thought was weird because that shit didn't happen in real life, and they just threw it into the movie. I don't know why they did.
There's something going on with that Jackson family. I'm starting to think something's a little fishy.
Yeah.
Do you guys,
I'm just telling you guys, there's something up with this LaToya.
Something's off. Yeah.
Do you guys have any famous Eskimo brothers?
Yeah.
I got,
probably, yeah.
That you know of?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't say.
All right, you don't have to say the name.
No. Because
if I could say,
the reason I don't want to say it, there's a reason I don't want to say it. It's something I kind of want to save because I once moderately dated a celebrity, and that celebrity went on a podcast and started talking about it, but didn't mention me. And there is a very high chance said celebrity will come on this show, and we will give graphic details on exactly what took place.
Ben Affleck.
And it's Ben Affleck. Me and Ben Affleck have been lovers for years.
Yep. So
Michelle's
did you ever get any of that J-Lo? Oh no, just Ben.
No, just Ben. Just me and my boy Ben. No, I don't think Ben Affleck and I are Eskimo brothers, but maybe we are.
All right, last one. Chris Bryant, Colorado Rockies infielder, outfielder, whatever you want to call him, starting the season on the DL, on the 60-day DL. He played 11 games last season. Now, I am in some circles with Chris Bryant, and I can tell you officially that he no longer likes baseball.
I can see that.
But this is a legitimate injury. Are we approaching Anthony Rendon territory with Chris Bryant, or are we already there?
I think we're – go ahead.
I'm going to say we're not in Anthony Rendon territory. Hear me out on why. Anthony Rendon, I think, firmly signed that contract knowing full well he was packing it in. I do not believe Chris Bryant did that at any point. I think Chris Bryant legitimately went over to the Rockies, got the bag, and really thought he was going to be in Coors Field and hit 40 home runs this season and live up to said contract. And then he just broke. Where Anthony Rendon, I don't think shares an ounce of remorse on how he was able to fleece $240 million out of the Angels and that tragic fan base that had to sit there and watch it.
All right. No. I think that I guess it goes back to intent. Same with Strasburg. Like, obviously, he signed his contract with the team. They let him walk. He signs it with Anaheim. I think the intent for Strasburg, the intent for Chris Bryant was there. But if you're asking me just as far as right at this moment, I think he's there. I think at this point, it's almost like he wants to be put out of his misery in a way. Like, I don't mean to be like, not literally, but like put out of his misery, like, figure out some sort of settlement to where I don't have to think about this, because technically, if you're beat up this much and you don't love the sport, you have to rehab. You have to show up to their facility if they ask you to do. Like, you have to do a lot of things that maybe you don't want to do. So I think he is there in actuality at this moment. I don't think he intended to get there. And this is one of the few times where, like what I mean by I don't feel bad about owners basically ever. Unless someone like in their family dies, because you're a billionaire. I'm not feeling bad for you. Like, oh my God, we have to lock out the players because we can't afford to pay them. Shut up. Like shut up. And I usually don't feel bad about pro athletes because you get paid to do. We all tried. You succeeded. I didn't succeed. It's one of those things. Listen, you succeeded in that you were there. Like, you got there. And like, I would give a lot to get there. But when guys really want to and their body breaks down, whether it's a Joel Embiid, whether it's this particular situation, and the body breaks down, I do feel bad, because I don't know what it's like to feel like Superman, but I could not imagine feeling like Superman and being Superman for a while and then not being able to do it. That must be crushing mentally. It must be.
It is. It is. Yeah, I do feel a little more on the bad side for Chris Bryant, because I have no doubt, Shane, what you said is correct. I have no doubt he hates baseball right now. If I was Chris Bryant, I probably would too.
Yeah. Show up to spring training. We want you to go through, like, that's probably the last place he wants to be. But if they ask him to, if he wants his money, he's got to do what they tell him to do. Yeah, come on down. You can be a good mentor to the guys. You know, you can do light duty. I just can't imagine that's any fun.
Yeah, it truly is. Shane, is that it for your quick hitters today?
That's it for us today.
My man. Well, I'm really excited to do this real quick because we could finally talk a little bit about Major League Baseball, because, Spez, you just mentioned spring training right around the corner. And I think we're going to keep this really rudimentary and simple. No matter what, we got some sleeper teams in there. I know we're living in a world where it's the Dodgers world and we're all kind of living in it. But I got a couple sleeper teams that I do think are being criminally underappreciated and undervalued. And I'm going to start with my one right out the gate, because I know everybody looks at the American League and they think that the Blue Jays are getting ready to run it back. And maybe they are, but less thumping their right-handed bats when they don't have a Bo Bichette anymore. And frankly, I think they got to the World Series by pure luck, because I think that the World Series team from the American League should have been the Seattle Mariners. And the Seattle Mariners are running it back with basically the exact same team that they had last season. They get their hands back on Josh Naylor, who signed a $96 million deal. They have arguably the best pitching staff, not in the American League, arguably in Major League Baseball. And yeah, I'm comparing that to the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Detroit Tigers, who just got their hands on an elderly Justin Verlander. But I do love me a reunion, not to mention the other signings they had, and they are going to pay Tarek Skubal $32 million. But I'm looking at this Mariners team, man. Their issue is never that they couldn't pitch. They could always pitch. The thing is, last year with Dumper putting up 62, they could hit now too.
You know, that's an interesting team. Like, for years, for people that don't know, as a Phillies fan, this is how my life literally went. My first Phillies game I ever went to was Mike Smith's last season. Then they were good in 93. And next time they were good, I was an adult. That was my entire childhood watching baseball. So I had to adopt a team along the way. And the team I had to adopt was Ken Griffey Jr., who comes to the show. He comes to the show when I'm in fifth grade. And it became the Mariners. I always want them to be good, him and Randy Johnson, all that era. So I always root for them. The question for me is is there some metaphysical reason they never get over the hump? They set the record for best record ever. Is there some metaphysical non-baseball reason that holds them back? And the reason I say that is they're really good, but most teams probably, you mentioned Detroit, that you mentioned Toronto, the Yankees, they're probably to most people like the fourth best team in the American League. Is there something holding them back?
I think right now it's just the narrative at this point that's holding them back, because there's not a whole lot of teams in Major League Baseball that never stepped foot in a World Series, and the Mariners were one run away from getting to their first World Series this last season. You mentioned that greatest team of all time, quote unquote, with 116 wins. They get bumped out of the playoffs in that first round. All those years with Griffey Jr., man, the Alex Rodriguez, the Jay Buners, the Dan Wilsons. Dude, I played Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest more than anything else on Nintendo 64. I loved playing as the Mariners. And yeah, I think the only thing that's holding them back is that narrative and that perceived like type of, oh, we're a cursed franchise type thing. Because listen, there's other teams that right now, like the Padres have never won a World Series. They've been to two, but they never won one. The Rays have never won a World Series, but the Mariners, who've been around for 50 plus years, they've never even been to the World Series. And this is, to me, the team that can do it. They should have done it last year. I'll never forget it. After that game, that goes in the Mariners locker room, and they were asking after everything you guys went through, how did it feel? And you just heard a guy in the background just screaming, "Ah!" And the guy just looks like that. That's how we're all feeling right now. I'm hoping they come back with their hair on fire. But you mentioned the hump. I think last year, even though they didn't get to the World Series, I thought they got over a very significant hump. And that was just winning the fucking division. The AL West was just always penciled in the Astros for the last decade. And then, of course, that outlier year with the Texas Rangers where they go and win a World Series. And everybody's sitting around hoping that the Angels can figure it out. They're not gonna, don't worry. Oh, and the A's are also technically there. I think the first hump was winning the division. Now it's time to win the AL.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I'm always rooting for them. They're in the AL. My favorite team's in the NL. But that's really my question. It's never really the baseball. It's always the other stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe next year was that year where they need to get a taste of it. This group of guys get a real taste of it, and now we figure out how to win.
Your team that you picked is interesting to me, and I'm looking forward to talking about this because this is a team that I am also looking to kind of run it back and get back to where they were. But I can also understand people that are a little hesitant because the Atlanta Braves didn't exactly make a ton of moves this offseason.
No, they didn't. And this is the tough thing. This is what I'm working off of. The year they go through and they make the World Series and they do everything, they had a situation where everybody had a career year. And then last year, coming off of all those injuries, you had everybody basically have their worst year. If they can kind of get in the middle, I think they're the second best team in that division behind the Phillies, but in front of the Mets, because everyone likes the Mets all of a sudden again. There's something still missing with the owner's not doing everything he can do. And the Bichette move was a panic move. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad move, but they saw the Phillies were about to get them. They were losing out on guys. So then they go and pull it and say, okay, here's a bunch of money on a short-term deal. It wasn't a thought-out situation the way that team was built. I have to go off of basically 35 years of history of those guys being a smart franchise and some natural guys returning to form. I think they're going to be a really dangerous team. I don't think they're good enough to win the division, mainly because I think the Phillies just have, by bringing all those guys back, they have a higher floor than everybody else. Like if everything goes wrong, which team would be the best? I think it would be the Phillies in that division. But I think the Braves are right there. And when you look at the over-under in Vegas, you have the Braves, the Phillies, and the Mets all separated by a total of 2 games on the over-under, the closest gap in all of the sport. I think the Braves are going to be there to the end next year after an uncharacteristically terrible year last year.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Keep in mind, those injuries were serious. You know, anytime you lose a Ronald Acuna Jr., that's not nothing. By the way, Ronald Acuna Jr. was on the halftime show also, to go back and look at that. That was pretty sweet. But also, it's just Austin Riley, I think, is this cat that should be a perennial all-star and a perennial MVP candidate. If he can get back to form, if you get Matt Olson back to form, because Braves fans, I know how you're feeling right now. Freddie Freeman yesterday was just named #1 first baseman in Major League Baseball again, and you're supposed to be with the younger version of Freddie Freeman. Instead, Freddie Freeman's about to go in the Hall of Fame as a fucking Dodger. I don't even remember Braves Freddie Freeman at this point, dude.
Not anymore. And there's because of the DH, Freddie Freeman's going to get to 3,000 hits, and he's not going to do it for the Braves, and that just feels wrong. And that's where the problem started. But I do think this is the time where they can stabilize, I think, and get it together, because that organization's been too good for so long, and they have the players. I don't expect them all to have career years, but I also don't think that they're all going to just be in the toilet like they were last year.
My next team is also an American League team, going back to the American League, and I just want to see your thoughts on this. Do not sleep on the Baltimore Orioles, man. I know that Pete Alonso is not the type of name that you probably think completely moves the needle. Pete Alonso is going to hit 30-plus home runs there as a righty in Baltimore. That is a huge porch in left field, and Pete Alonso will put up 30 to 40 in that ballpark. That offensive get to add to the potential return of Jackson Holliday if he can get to the status that they think he can get to. Maybe Adley Rutschman comes back and becomes the guy that they thought he was early on. Gunnar Henderson, who everybody shouts from the rooftops, is an MVP candidate. And you throw an MVP, you throw in a guy like Cedric Mullins if he can kind of come back to what he once was. And you throw a Pete Alonso in there, I think you got yourself something pretty damn good. My question simply is this for this team. Can their pitching do it? Because I've never, and I love Dean Kramer. He's the next teammate of mine and all that, but Dean Kramer gets hit a lot. Do they have the pitching to do it is my question for the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, that's going to be tough as far as the pitching. And I also just wonder, we've seen this at different times. Detroit Tigers in the 90s, when everybody was talking about all their young players, and do they ever reach that? We saw it with the A's a couple of times where do they have, where it kind of hit when they had Chavez and Tejada and all the hype and they lived up to it. Do those young guys live up to the hype? I think having an adult in the room, I think maybe they were too young last year. Maybe they were too young last season. And I think bringing an adult in the room and also righty protection, where if you look around baseball, he was by far the best righty available as far as free agency because everybody was left-handed this offseason. I think that's going to be big. The pitching is going to be so tough because the division's so tough. So that's going to be interesting for them. If they can get through the wars of the regular season, I think they're well-equipped in the postseason. But having to play the Dodgers and having to play Toronto as much as they do, it does make me wonder, will they wear down over a long season those arms? Not because of lack of ability. That's just a really tough schedule right now. They don't have the soft touches in their division, because Red Sox don't stink. They don't have the soft touches the way some of these other divisions do where, you got the Nats. You get the White Sox. You get Colorado. I know everybody plays everybody. It's not as big as it used to be, but that's really my question. If they play the Yankees and Toronto back-to-back series, do they go 2-4 when things are going bad, or do they go 0-6 like they did last year?
It's going to be interesting. It's just the other question is, what are the Blue Jays this year? Are the Blue Jays still the same team? I'm willing to bet the answer is no. I think they took a step back this offseason. The Yankees getting back Garrett Cole, is that going to be enough to push them over the hump? Or is that bullpen going to be a problem? And also with Devin Williams, after getting it together the second half of the season, goes across town over to Queens. It's just going to be a real interesting year. Oh, and also the Boston Red Sox seemingly deciding, and I'll never understand this for the rest of my life, doing fucking nothing.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm at the point where I wish there was a mechanism to force a sale. Those owners are not focused on winning anymore. Ever since they broke the curse and they won, basically since Poppy left, they are not, their number one priority is not winning. The fact that Mookie Betts isn't there says a lot. You do everything you can to get Mookie Betts. You don't ever part with Mookie Betts. He should have been a career guy. So that part always makes me wonder, what's the priority? Is it European soccer? Are there other business? They have a lot of other businesses. Clearly, they're treating a baseball team like it's the mom and pop shop at the corner, and that never works. You can't treat pro sports like that. This is for you to talk at the most exclusive country clubs on your big yacht parties that you own the team. That's what it is. It's not about trying to make money all the time with that. And if they're going to have that attitude, they're just not going to win again. You just see the teams that win are the teams that really, really want to win. That's just how it goes anymore.
And I got one more team for you that I do think we're all sleeping on, but we've all slept on them before. And I don't know if you remember, the quote of Major League Baseball 2 years ago was "snakes alive," because the Diamondbacks, I'm just saying, I know everybody looks at the National League West. Obviously, the Dodgers are going to win the division. We all know that.
And
I know
the Padres
are still going to be right in it. Yeah, they're going to still
years.
be in it. But this team was in the World Series 2 years ago. This team still has a pretty damn good pitching staff. You got yourself Corbin Burns potentially coming back this year for this team. You got your hands still on a Merrill Kelly. Who knows if they're going to sign their other big arm and Zach Gallen back, who is still apparently available. Offensively, listen, I know Nolan Arenado has not been the same guy as he once was, but getting a Nolan Arenado for a little bit of as a flyer over here for this team is not a terrible move. You got Perdomo, who's an all-star. You got arguably one of the best young outfielders in Corbin Carroll. You still got Lourdes Gurriel Jr. You got Alex Thomas. This team is not a team to sleep on, and they will win 85 games. If they win 85 games or go over that 85 game mark, this is a potential playoff team, and if they get in the playoffs, watch out, because they got in the playoffs 2 years ago and just caught fire.
They did. Now, I've heard people say that Carroll, like a lot of people like him, and they think he could be an MVP.
I do.
If he's ready to be an MVP, I'm there.
I didn't even mention Ketel Marte, by the way.
Yeah, and that was a big move. And that was a big move for them. So they're trying. The other part that I always wonder about them, does it matter that the fans are a big show me type of fan base? And as a former player, does that affect things? Like certain teams, like we're talking about the Dodgers, they're going to be there because they know even the Padres at this point, those fans are going to be there.
Yes.
The Phillies, the Mets, the Mets is a little bit of a show me situation. Maybe that's part of the reason they don't win. The Yankees, that fan base is very show me first. So April, May, even into June, a lot of empty seats, things like that. And does that lead to a slow start? And does the slow start then keep the people away? We see they get on fire when they get going. Does that play a role as a former player? I always want to, because I've been around cities where they're kind of there when they're good. The Diamondbacks is different.
It is different, but hear me out on this. And this is going to be a really weird way of describing, because this is more of a personal thing for a lot of players. Yes, there is that lack of fan support early in the season. And yes, that can absolutely affect the energy of a team and everything going forward. But there is a certain type of, I played for the Diamondbacks for 2 years, my last 2 years of my career. They were the best organization I played for. And I do mean that by far, how they treated their players, the ease of it. There's also the fact that the spring training, which is in Arizona, and you don't have to leave and repack up your shit and you just stay right there in town. There is a certain type of comfort and ease for playing on the Arizona Diamondbacks that I did not feel on any other organization that I played for. I truly loved playing for this organization. They just kind of did it right. I wish there was some other way that I can describe it, because I know I'm doing a terrible job of describing it, but I've never played for an organization that treated their players better, took care of their mental health better, took care of their meals better, and truly valued every single guy from the lowest guy at rookie ball to their highest paid superstar. I did not feel that on any other organization I played for except for the Diamondbacks, to the point where guys want to play for the Diamondbacks.
And then that means, obviously, at the trade deadline, when the players that have some say about where they go. Sometimes you're traded, you have no say. But that means guys that have say may want to go there, especially if they're showing that they're a really good team. And I know that, and you can correct me, they say the number one thing for a manager is to make guys feel comfortable to go play every single day. Because like the X's and O's, that's such a small amount of games. Mm-hmm. I can't hit for you. I can't pitch for you. It sounds like they have a lot of that stuff where you're comfortable going to the ballpark every day. They have that covered, and I do think that matters.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. But, hey, let's get off of this real quick, and let's just get ready to wrap up the show. But first, I definitely want us to hit some shiggles. This is the moment where we do our shits and giggles moment, and I want to bring this up because this got brought to my attention just about an hour and a half ago, and I think it's unbelievable. Listen, we've all shot our shots to women in our lives. We've all tried to get somebody into our lives, and sometimes we definitely made a mistake in our past relationships where we desperately want to get that person back. Mm-hmm. I'm not positive the Olympics is the way to go about it. But hear me out. Apparently, apologies for the name.
It's impossible.
Sturla Holm Legrid, Norwegian biathlete, decided while getting their bronze medal, wanted very much to get the girl back. I am not ready to give up. I hope that committing social suicide right now will show how much I love her. 6 months ago, I met the love of my life, the world's most beautiful, sweetest person. And 3 months ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life and cheated on her. Question.
What? You shut up.
Is this a speech that can get back anyone?
Hell no. Because first of all, you idiot, maybe everybody didn't know that. Here's the other part. Maybe she told her parents, for example, that it just didn't work out, and she might forgive your fool ass. Yeah. Once you tell the world that you cheated on her, because you didn't know, that's not going to happen. You embarrassed her. The other part is you do that in private. You do that in private. You say, like, the whole time I was out there in the Olympics, I was thinking about you. And you might think I'm happy about this gold medal, but I'm not happy about the gold medal because I'm not happy with my life when I don't have you in it. There is game that you could pull, but not that. That will never work.
Don't announce what you did. Like, that's just...
You moron.
What are you doing? Like, because you're right. I would be... If I, like, listen, and we're on the flip side. We're the dudes in this. If the girl that we were seeing was an Olympian and went out and gave a speech, she's like, I cheated on him and I just want him back, I ain't going anywhere fucking near you.
No chance. Like, it might have been no chance before, but you never say never in real life. So let's say there was a 1% chance, right? That's what I'm saying. Well, I know you never say never. I read about that online, but like, I know you never say never normally,
never,
right? Yeah, I got it.
People like, you never talk to you ever again.
Normally, right? But to do that publicly is not going to work. The one caveat I can give, we're speaking from an American culture.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe over there, it's a different type of society. Like, I know that wouldn't work in America, but over there, maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's equivalent of having Bad Bunny perform the wedding. Like, I don't know. Maybe that really works over there. I don't know. But I think that was a foolish mistake.
Yeah, it was quite a move. Quite a move. How about you, Tyrone? Anything that you're shiggling about right now?
Yes, it was actually brought up. This Lewis Hamilton, Kim Kardashian thing is making me laugh. Now, let me get this straight. We've seen this Kardashian curse now for a decade now, okay? For a decade. James Harden, the only one to survive it, okay? The only one to survive it. And he still hasn't won anything, but like, he just got traded and Cleveland's happy to have him. We saw Tristan Thompson. We saw Rashad McCants that started it. We saw Chris Humphries. We've seen these Kardashians.
We've seen Kanye.
Right. We've seen them destroy people. Lamar Odom went from being 6th man of the year and a champion to a straight crackhead living in a brothel. My man was mainlining crack cocaine nonstop. He took his money and said, give me all the crack you can find me and every hooker in this joint, I'm not leaving. And you decide as a race car driver who just signed a new deal with Mercedes, like a brand new deal. Everyone's all excited after all these years of Ferrari, Formula One. You make all this money, and you're so arrogant to think that your ass can somehow beat this Kardashian curse. Like, forget the whole sister part and all that other stuff. That dude, hubris is not even the word. Like, I know how this ends. He's going to be in there either crashing, which I hope nothing happens. I don't want him to crash, or his suit's going to catch on fire. It's supposed to be a fireproof suit. Bad things are going to happen to this man going forward. And the fact that he's not only doing it privately, but publicly at the Super Bowl, maybe he doesn't realize the Super Bowl's big because he's not from here. But that's a massive mistake, and I just know his life's over.
Dude, the way he keeps this shit up, he's going to be driving for Geo by the end of next month.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, I just can't believe it. And women love this guy. He got he can get access to a lot of women. He has access to a lot of women. Why do you pick her? What are you doing, man? You can get any woman in the world. You go over to Monaco and take your pick. You could have picked anybody in the Bad Bunny halftime show. Jessica Alba's out in these streets again. You could have picked her, and you picked Kardashian. Oh,
what a move!
Oh,
What a move. Shane, anything you're shiggling on, my guy?
I got some horrible news today. Woke up scrolling Twitter like I normally do, and I'm looking at highlights from the women's speed skating competition in the Olympics. And I see this woman from the Netherlands, Jutta Leerdam, okay? Maybe the most beautiful woman that I've seen in my entire life. Just every single thing you could ever dream of in a woman, Jutta Leerdam has it. And then they go to the stands. She's fucking engaged to Jake Paul.
Oh!
She's engaged to Jake Paul.
Wait a second. She's not an American. I thought that was his big old thing. He just hates anything that's not really American.
Yeah. No, she's not American at all.
Just the worst news that I could. I mean, I'm on such this high of seeing highlight videos of Jutta Leerdam and her ass. And then I've got to see she's engaged to Jake Paul.
Yeah. Like, she's a girl that can't walk by, like, back up to a countertop because it sits on the countertop.
Yes,
all right?
Exactly.
Everything you said is correct. Oh, no, this girl's legit.
Look her up, dude.
And he's in the crowd crying. Like, and people are going,
that was
that's
performative,
the
by the
thing.
way. That was some performative bullshit.
Of course it was. Of course it was. Like, you know what? That's not going to last. Don't you worry, sir. Don't worry. Don't you worry. If you ever come across
kidding me?
Yeah, see that.
He's engaged to this woman?
Yes.
Dude, fuck this planet.
And she's in tears for good reasons. She just won a gold medal, her first gold medal of her life. She worked her whole life to get this, and he's in there doing it for the show. And and by rule, he's not even allowed to like her, and yet he likes her. It's so bad. It's gotten so bad that the brothers are now fighting, the Paul brothers. The other brother had to say something.
Oh,
that's how bad.
No, let's be real clear. Let's be real clear. The other brother had to say something because Bad Bunny has done more for the WWE than any Paul brother has ever dreamed of. And you better believe Nick Khan or Triple H called his ass and said, you better talk shit about your brother right now.
Well, either way, okay, things are not good. And that was very disappointing. I went from going, wow, that girl could be the next superstar in the world, because that look works everywhere. She can be famous here. She can be famous in China, India, South America. But then you got that anchor around your neck. Yeah, like I was as disappointed in that as anything I've ever seen in my life.
Man, that is what a letdown. What a letdown. But you know what? It's time for us all to reflect. All right, my reflection is simply this. I had a blast today. By the way, this is the first time I've ever worked with Tyrone, and man, we got to do it again, dude. This was an absolute blast. I enjoyed talking all things basketball with you. I absolutely loved getting into the baseball with you today. And frankly, I just look forward to the future and doing more of these and getting some more revolving co-hosts. But man, Tyrone, we got to get you on way more often. This was an absolute blast having you here today on Beadle and Decker, man.
Listen, thank you so much. To be honest with you, thank you, Shane. Thank you for having me. Thanks to the audience. Listen, this is a real honor for me. I had a great time. It's always nice when you get asked to work with nice people and good people. You know how tough this business is.
Oh, yeah.
Not everybody's so nice. Not everybody's so good. When you get to be around good people and you get to have fun, this was like a really great experience for me. And I was going to say, I hope you guys have me back. I'll clear my schedule.
Dude, we'll see your ass next week is what I'm trying to say, because that was too much of a great time, and that's what I'm reflecting on. This was just a blast. Everyone in the chat absolutely loved having you, and we look forward to the next time actually getting you back over here, man. That's my reflection. Working with you was an absolute joy today.
No, thank you so much. No, I really appreciate it. And one other thing I've noticed, where are we as a society, real fast, just as a society, I was reflected on, where we have to use everything to not get along. Like the fact that this Super Bowl halftime show has lasted that many days of controversy, to me, there was nothing controversial. I just think we all of us, and I'm not saying I'm above it. I'm not saying anybody. I'm not pointing fingers because I'm not perfect, but maybe we need to look for ways to not be angry when there's nothing to be angry about once in a while, because there is still joy in sports. I think there's still joy in sports. And I think and that's why I think a lot of us watch sports, is because that joy when your team wins is still like, I don't think that changes if you're 7 or 70. And I just wish we could get back to that sometimes and realize that, like, we're all going to be different. We have different opinions, But we don't have to be angry about it all the time when someone sings a song at halftime. So I just think we should get back to that.
But
we didn't always get angry when someone sang a song.
But Tyrone, did they sing it in English? Because if they didn't, it's a front to white people.
Well, you should go to one of them Spanish parties. Let me tell you, you go to a party where all the music's Spanish, and you're going to have a tremendous time. And there's always women there. You never have to worry about all the fellas at any of those parties. I've been to some parties. I've been to some firehouse parties where it's all dudes. I've never been to a Spanish party where it was all dudes.
No. Take it from somebody right here. Look at me. Everybody looking directly in the eyes. Take it from somebody that lived in Panama, played in Venezuela, lived in Mexico 3 different times. Listen to what Tyrone's telling you. If you've never been to like a Latin party, you haven't lived, bro.
You have not lived. You have not lived. You have not lived. Yeah, so that's my reflection. Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in the most Hispanic neighborhood in Chicago, Logan Square, in the west part of Logan Square, and my neighbors didn't speak a lick of English. But anytime they saw me out in the backyard, there was a shot of tequila handed over the fence. I am very much with the Hispanic people, and I will exclusively be listening to Bad Bunny from here on out while reading the lyrics, because I saw a couple TikToks last night where a girl was translating the lyrics in real time. The guy's hysterical. He's hysterical. That song that he opened with is hysterical, and it's a vibe, and I love it.
Oh, one last thing. When Lady Gaga came out, because I was how to speak Spanish, he was saying, "Hey, let's bring out what everybody wanted," and then he cut to the white woman. It was a joke. Like that was a joke. He said, "Yes, that's what he was saying." He was like, "Now let's go to what everybody wanted," and then that's what Gaga was in on the joke. She knew it, but yeah. Yeah, he's a funny guy, apparently. Yeah.
Fucking A+. And guys, we want to thank everybody for joining us today. This was an absolute blast, Tyrone. We cannot wait to have you back. And guys, tomorrow we'll be back here live at noon. Michelle Beadle will be back for her Wednesday show. And more shows throughout the week. Thursday, Keith Irizarry. Friday, we got Jen Piacenti. And just a ton more sports to talk. And cannot wait to have Tyrone back. Like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Not to mention, on top of that, like and share and subscribe right here on YouTube on this channel. Hit that alert button so you know when we're going live and when we're posting videos. Going to have to be videos posted throughout the day. Also on social media. So make sure you check out Instagram, not TikTok, because since that sale happened, fuck that site.
It's been rough.
Yeah.
It's been rough.
I'm good. I'm out on TikTok. All right. That's it for us, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, R.I.P. Estelle Getty.